And in New York, as the race for governor draws near, recent NYPD figures show major crime is up more than 30% so far this year. What's it like on the ground, and how much could this play into voters' decisions? One man has been patrolling the streets of New York City since the late 70s, and I spoke with him earlier today. Curtis Sliwa founded the Guardian Angels, which has created hundreds of safety patrol chapters throughout the country. He also previously ran for mayor. Curtis Sliwa, welcome to our show. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Again, I put my hands across the world to talk to all of you.
It's great to have you on. Now, the Guardian Angels has been patrolling New York City since the 80s, at least. How does the city compare today?
Well, it's nowhere near as bad as it was in the 80s with crack cocaine and burned out buildings and gangs everywhere. But we're beginning to slip into that abyss. So you have DAs who won't prosecute, judges who won't incarcerate, and police who have been told to step back. So if the cops can't be proactive, they'd like to be, but they can't, then you have to clear the way and let citizens be able to defend themselves, their property, their family, their community. And we're seeing more and more of that, not just in the city of New York, but all over the United States.
And what do you think are some of the main factors contributing to the crime spike in New York?
Oh, there's no doubt that the number one factor is there's no consequences. So whether you're young, middle-aged, old, you recognize that even if you're caught red-handed in the commission of your crime, even a violent crime, there's a very good chance that you're going to be cut loose to go out and become a predicate felon, to do it again and again and again. And also you hear elected officials making excuses for your aberrant behavior. I mean, you're listening and said, wow, I didn't know I was a product of a bad environment. That's why I do what I do. No, you have to be held culpable just like anybody else. And the officials really have poured gasoline on the fire when it comes to giving excuses to criminals who consistently repeat their crimes again and again.
So you're alluding to the bail laws in New York City, right? And which have recently been reformed. Mayor Eric Adams, who you ran against in November, has also opposed these changes, and he's called on Governor Kathy Hochul to make changes. Is there anything else that you think that he can do as mayor, or is the ball completely in Hochul's court?
Well, the swagger man with no plan, Eric Adams, he can say that it's all tied to no cash bail. That's only one part of it. What he doesn't tell you is that he led the effort to strip from police officers, as a former police officer himself, from Buffalo to Brooklyn, qualified immunity. That is the guarantee of everyone who works for the city, the state, that they won't be covered if there's a lawsuit. Now cops are being sued personally. So here it is, Eric Adams can't have it both ways. How is it he stands before his police department that is shrinking as we speak and saying it's okay that you're sued? I can't be sued as mayor. Former Governor Cuomo can't be sued, even though he's responsible for 16,000 deaths of senior citizens. But cops can be sued? That's why their morale is at an all-time low. And that's why it's going to be a very difficult time. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
And we've seen the Republican candidate running against Kathy Hochul in the coming election, gaining in popularity. Do you think that law and order has a big part to do with that?
There's no doubt in this upcoming gubernatorial election in New York that'll be decided on November 8th. It's all about law and order. Now, if you side with the criminals, you're going to vote for Kathy Hochul. If you side with law and order, you're going to vote for Congressman Lee Zeldin. It's a clear choice. And in a heavily blue state, if Lee Zeldin can get 30% of the vote in New York City as a Republican, which I was able to get against the Democrat Eric Adams, he'll be the next governor. But the battle is all in the 5 boroughs of the city of New York. He'll win the rest of the state. It'll be a sea of red. But New York City is a sea of blue. He's got his work cut out for him.
And as you mentioned earlier, New York City had vast skyrocketing crime in the 80s and 90s, but it was able to be turned around due to a change in policy and approach. Is there anything that you think that we can learn from that change that we can apply today?
Absolutely. The person who changed it all was Rudy Giuliani. Zero tolerance, quality of life. The smallest indiscretion was treated seriously. So it wasn't a drip down theory. It was a drip up theory. So the smallest crimes were treated seriously, which led to resolving the more serious crimes. And we became the biggest, safest city in America under Rudy Giuliani. Prior to that, we were the most dangerous, the most violent, the most gang-ridden, the most murders in all of America. And that turned around in 8 years. So the template has already been set. You just need to follow the footsteps of what Rudy Giuliani did.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Curtis Lewa, founder of the Guardian Angels. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Anytime.